Welcome everybody to the Off the Block National Match of the Week press conference featuring BYU and Pepperdine. We thank both coaches and Spencer Wilkins and Zach Aschenberg for joining us. Let's start the press conference with a opening statement from both coaches. Let's go with Coach Olmstead first.
All right. Yeah, I hit the mute button. There we go. Hey, we're just I think I'm speaking for most of our team that super excited to be able to play volleyball and be in this situation where games are happening, that a lot of people are putting in a lot of effort to make that happen, including our players, our administration, a handful of medical people, and appreciate Pepperdine and Hunt for bringing his boys out here. This wasn't or maybe this was our originally scheduled match, but yeah, it was actually. So with kind of the new format that we went with as we got into discussions on this season and as it related to kind of the conference only. So this was kind of an originally scheduled game, and we're excited to return to Pepperdine. So it's going to be a great matchup. We both know that it's not going to be the typical Smith Fieldhouse with the noise and with the crowd, but these guys get to play, and I think that's most important. And so that's a great program. I've always thought very, very highly of the Pepperdine program, and they really haven't skipped a beat with David taking over, and didn't expect them to. And he's had a great mentor, and so his team competes. They get after it. It looks to be a fun match, and we're excited that we get to do it back to back. We're excited that we get to, have it on TV. I think it's great for our sport, for men's volleyball, and for both programs, and just for a lot of people right now in general. So we're happy that Pepperdine also could have their family out here. I think that's big time, and our players as well. And so it's a lot of effort from a lot of people to make this work under the constraints that we have, and doing all that we can to pull this thing off. So we're excited to just be a part of it, and the excitement from both teams is going to be, I'm sure, evident.
Thank you, Coach Olmstead. Coach Hunt, your opening statement.
Yeah, I mean, Sean put it well. I think we're just excited for the athletes to be able to compete on both sides. Getting that negative test right before you get on the plane, or the day before you get on the plane, is a cool feeling, because that everyone's put in some hard work, and then the guys are going to be rewarded with being able to play some good matches. Coming up here is always a fun time. BYU does everything first class, so it's always fun to be in that environment. And then as a coach, somebody that's into coaching and into sports, sometimes teams have talent, sometimes teams are just well coached, and BYU has both. So it's fun for our athletes, and then fun as coaches, regardless of what happens tonight. Then a little bit of a chess match night 2 to see what we need to change, what they're going to change, and so that gets you excited as a coach. So we're just thankful, appreciative, gratitude, all those things sort of express how we're feeling. So we're just excited.
Thank you, Coach Hunt. I'll start with you first question, and I'll get Sean to answer this question as well. What have you learned from your team from the first couple of matches that you played?
Yeah, unfortunately, not as much as we would have liked. The first match for everybody, I think, is a little bit of a shock, and just, hey, this is different. And I think we've tried to make it as game-like as possible in our gym, in terms of having scrimmages, inter-squad scrimmages, intense practices, but you can't replicate what it's like with no fans in the gym. So the first match, I think, were some nerves, and then the second match, I think we played a little bit better, a little bit cleaner, but then we had a long break because of another team in our conference had some COVID protocols that they had to deal with, which is to be expected. But I don't know how much we learned from ourselves or about ourselves the first 2 nights. I think it's going to be a process that we're just going to keep learning all the way along.
Coach Olmstead, what have you learned from your team?
One thing I want to make sure is that Hunt and I just don't piggyback off each other, but there's not, ideally at that, looking back to last weekend, we would have been, I think, normally I think what we had originally planned is like 6 or 7 or, matches into the season with a little different format. So, doing our best to kind of manage all the time, and Hunt can recall, I even called him a couple times, man, just there was this long layoff and then another layoff after the break where you're kind of going, okay, the matches are there, they're coming. And we kept telling the guys that they're going to be there. And so definitely, right from the get-go, just a lot of, Hunt said nerves, I'd some uncertainty here and there, and not so much, I think just in all aspects, from a different look in the Smith Fieldhouse, although we practice with that look, but it's still different. There is nobody there. There's no noise between plays. It's something that you definitely have to adjust to. But and I don't want to take away anything. As we look back on our first weekend with UCLA, hats off to them. And I don't think the fact that they played the weekend before gave them this crazy upper edge over us, but they definitely were a better team that night, the first night. And so we're constantly talking with our guys about what we can learn. But again, we talk the same things, that we feel like this is kind of going to be a journey. We talk about it that way, that we're going to be learning and evolving. And so I think we're all going to be in that boat. And so did we take anything specifically away from last weekend? Yeah, we did. And we've been trying to work on those things throughout the week and talk about those things, of course, individually with the players, collectively as a group. And, ideally, we're going to see some small amount of change going into these matches here.
Let's bring the players in. I'll start with Spencer, then go to Zach. I'll ask you the same question. Spencer, what sticks out to you from the BYU's team?
They're a great team. They have a bunch of great servers, a bunch of great attackers, big blocking team. I think they're pretty similar to this to us in the sense they have a lot of big guys who can take big rips, and they also play very hard. I think after the first match, the second match, they came back and they showed that they're a resilient team. They came back and won a great game against UCLA, and that's what good teams are gonna have to do throughout the season. So I'm excited to play in a really good game tonight.
All right, Zach, don't pick you off with that answer. What sticks out to you though for on the Pepperdine side?
I think one of the biggest things that sticks out to me and to our team is the amount of ball control that all the guys on Pepperdine has. Like at the start of this year, when we found out that like Spencer and Noah were playing outside, and both of whom had previously played libero, we knew that that team was going to be a really just scrappy team. They're going to serve, receive well. They're going to play really good defense, and I think in watching them, just the amount of fight and energy that they play with really sticks out a lot, and that'll make it really fun to play against tonight and to compete with them in that way.
Awesome. I'll bring Brandon in. I think he has a couple of questions to ask.
Thanks, boys, for being here. Really looking forward to these matches coming up this weekend. For Coach Olmstead, obviously there's a few factors that kind of played a role, I would say, between the two matches last weekend. But one of the biggest ones was getting Will back onto the court. Can you talk to us about the importance that he is to the team? And then in addition, can you talk about how important it is for other players on the roster to get some court experience, as this year is going to be an opportunity for a lot of guys to get run?
Yeah, we continually talk about that. And I think the dynamics of this season with, of course, the COVID protocols and those things that are, constantly evolving and changing. And we're testing 3 to 4 times a week, and things can change. And so we're doing all that we can in practice to put them in that setting. And then in matches, I'm going to be honest, from a coaching standpoint, there's coaches that are maybe better than me at being willing to put some guys in certain situations. I can be open about that. And, that's every coach is different. So, but we need to learn to have that ability to do what we can in those situations to, compete at our best. And that in and of itself is a learning process. So, I felt very confident and comfortable going into the match on Thursday. I firmly believe that each one of the guys did as well. So having Will come back on Saturday night, of course, was the reality is, there is comfort and ease, whether you vocally recognize that or it's just a subconscious thing. That's, just a sense of calm and, kind of the way things had been moving, the guys felt comfortable there. But we still have to, looking back on the Thursday night match, maybe we do need to be a little stronger, a little tougher under those situations and circumstances to find ways to make sure that level of competitiveness and being able to deal with a few other, issues that are, beyond our control. We just have to learn to be a little bit better and a little bit tougher there. And again, it's a good opportunity for each one of the guys. And I felt, honestly, Zio came in there and did all he could. He really did all he could. And we're all learning from that. And it's going to be continual. It's going to be months and months, and it's always that, and it's years and years. So it's constantly something we're all working on.
Thank you, Coach. Also, for Coach Hunt, it appears as of right now that maybe Pepperdine is one of the few teams in the country that is incorporating a lot more players from last year, as so many teams are returning most of their lineup. Can you talk to us a little bit about the challenges you guys are facing with incorporating a lot of new players in, and then with how they're fitting in with the returning players?
Yeah, that's interesting. I've never really sat down and thought about we're incorporating new guys or we're changing new guys. I just think it's, sports, it's sort of the ultimate meritocracy in terms of guys earn it, right? And it's just my job to evaluate practice and put the guys out there that earn it. And so Spence, for example, all fall, he's earned it. I would probably be the last person that would expect us to start at 5'10", 5'11". How tall are you, Spence?
It says 5'11", but I'm like 6 foot.
Yeah, 5'10" outside hitter. So I'm the last guy that would have said like, yeah, we're going to Spence. But the reality is every day, he earns it, and I'd be disingenuous if I didn't play him. So I don't sit there and I mean, I'm probably similar to Sean in terms of our lineup is probably the most predictable throughout the years. And when you play Pepperdine, who's going to be out there for them. So I'm just playing the guys that have earned it. And the only thing that's different is we haven't played in the fall. So normally, for example, with BYU, I think for Zach, probably since your whole time here, we've met in Las Vegas and played each other in the fall. And that's the time we play some different lineups and do some things. But by the time January comes around, we're trying to compete, win non-conference matches, and make it to the NCAAs. So we're sort of incorporating that into the spring season. But there's no like by design or mixing some guys in. It's just who's earned it and who needs to be out there for us.
Hey, Coach. For the players, both of you boys are kind of in a similar position. I feel like playing outside hitter, maybe some bigger names around you. You guys kind of have a set role. I'm super curious to hear how you feel, what your role is, how you work to fill that role, and then how you expect to continue and grow moving forward this season. Zach, you can go first.
All right, perfect. Yeah, honestly, for me, just my role is to help out wherever I can. As an outside hitter, I have a huge responsibility to pass well, to play defense, to, swing aggressively at all sorts of balls, lots of out-of-system balls, to serve tough. And I feel like that is where I have, found where I contribute the best to this team, because I by no means am any sort of a big gun on our team, especially with guys like Gabby and Davide, Felipe, you know, even Mickey. Those guys, they put the ball away well. And so all I try to do is, you know, fit in, you know, when the ball comes to me, make a good positive touch, you know, put in a good ball against the teams we play against, and really try and be a good, you know, motivator and, you know, bring some good energy to the team.
Yeah, absolutely. I think my job is just to be the best teammate I can be, make the guys better around me. You know, as an older guy, it's also to show the young guys how to work harder than them, maybe bring up their level as well. But yeah, typical outside role, pass, swing, serve tough, and just, you know, as an older guy, be a vocal leader on the court and practice and just, you know, work hard for the guys around me.
Thank you, boys.
I'm going to pull a Vinny and ask a question out of left field for both coaches and both players. What is your favorite creamery flavor? I'll go with Coach Olmstead first.
I may lose my job over this, so if I do, I'm coming to work for you or attempt to work for somebody. I don't even know. I know there's 1,000 names, so I apologize. I don't know the last time I've eaten creamery ice cream, but I do know one of my favorite coaches on campus coached my wife when she was an athlete here. Jennifer Rockwood is probably the most successful coach in the history of BYU athletics. And so I think she got a flavor a couple of years ago. So I don't even know what the flavor is, but I'll go with Jennifer Rockwood's flavor. So there you go. I don't know. I think there's like Lavelle vanilla. I apologize to all Cougar fans watching. Maybe I'll swing by the creamery tonight if it's still open, but I'll go with Jennifer Rockwood's.
I forgive you. Coach Hunt, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, you don't look as good as Sean by going to the creamery, is my guess. You know, but I've never been there either, so I'm probably the wrong coach to talk about. But I don't know. Sean brought some cookies yesterday, and I don't know where these cookies are from, but I'm hoarding them in my room. I'm fat. One of them it was a cookie that weighed 12 pounds. So wherever those are from is now my favorite place in Provo. And I blame Marv for my lack of knowledge of Provo, because for years we just ate at Denny's across the way from the Spring Hill Suites, and that's where we ate all 3 meals. And so I don't know where this place is. I got to check it out maybe, but yeah, we'll see.
And Eschenberg can answer. Where do you think the cookies were from, Esh?
Oh, for sure, Crumble, right, Sean?
There you go. It was Hunt's birthday on Sunday. I knew it was. Forgot to text him, and so I made it up to him last night and brought him a few with a nice card there.
I walked into the hotel with this box, and these girls ran over, and I was thinking, all right, yeah, you know, and then it was all about the box, and I just, oh man. So apparently that's the place.
All right, Zach, I'll ask a different question then. You can either give me a favorite flavor at the creamery or your favorite cookie. Go ahead.
Okay, maybe Sean should know this, but Kenny and I do like ice cream a lot. And so we've got a couple times, sorry, my wife Kennedy on the women's volleyball team, but we've gone a couple times to Creamery. And Sean, I think that Rockwood, like the Jen Rockwood flavor, I think it's like a cherry chocolate, something or the other. I've never had it, but I'm sure it's pretty good. But Kennedy and I really like this flavor called Fluffernutter, and it's you know, random name, but it's got like peanut butter and like marshmallows infused into it, and it's like with vanilla ice cream. I don't know, it's really good though.
I would be wondering, you know, which Olmstead is going to get, you know, a flavor named after him first. I mean, Heather's doing a pretty good job. You know, they're competing against each other, so that would be interesting. Is, you know, are they just holding off because they don't want to offend one of them?
Zach's going to enjoy that question, and we'll give it. I think I apologize for not appreciating your love for ice cream, Zach. But Zach does know me, and he knows my answer is going to be give Heather all the flavors she wants. You know, she'll front and center. You know, love it. She's on the billboards on the I-15. Great. You know, she can. I don't know what her favorite flavor would be, but Heather could do a great job as an ambassador for the Creamery for sure.
All right, Spencer, don't want to leave you left out. Have you ditched the hotel to visit the Creamery or to go to Crumble?
I've never had either. I gotta say, I'm pretty lame, but I do like cookie dough ice cream. If I were to choose, that'd be my favorite. If I were to go cookie, maybe a snickerdoodle. I'm a pretty simple guy, nothing too crazy, but yeah, those would be my choices.
Right on. All right, let's get back to some volleyball questions.
Let me ask Hunt, did anyone else try the cookies? I'm just curious. Or
I offered one to our director of ops. She had a little bit, and one of our assistants tried to steal one. So I just said, hey, no. But yeah, they got to earn it a little bit more. But our director of ops, works magic around here, so she can do whatever she wants.
Yeah, they're heavy for sure. All right.
Yeah.
Right on. All right, let's go back to volleyball questions. I'll throw these back to the players. I'll start with Zach. First question. Everybody knows about Smithfield House, 5,000 rocking loud fans right on the court. What was it like to play your first couple of matches without fans?
It was definitely different. The field house just gets this electric feel when you have the 5,000 rocking fans, and it makes it really easy to feed off that energy and to play, be more motivated to play well. And so to be there without that, it was a little almost unnerving because of what we're used to, of course. Now, the fans that were there, I thought they, were loud. They did a good job, but it definitely became more of a, we had to energize ourselves, I guess, by creating that energy more so on the court and, getting that from the bench. And I thought that was, one of the biggest changes from Thursday to Saturday. I thought the whole team energy Saturday was just incredible. And so while it was odd, I think after the first night, were able to adapt a lot better to it being, so much more empty.
So this is going to be a two-part question. Playing at BYU, there is a lot of expectations. I would, BYU and Hawaii are probably the two most passionate men's volleyball fan bases. So there's expectations for national championships. So first question, rightfully or wrongfully, there was a lot of public blame, might be a strong term, but blame on Zio for the loss on Thursday. How has his mindset been since then?
I think Zio's been pretty good. Obviously, he was bummed. We were all bummed about how Thursday went, but honestly, that kid is such a good player. I thought, this past week he's done really well and he's bounced back. He's played with a lot of fight, and I think even a little more confidence in practice after being able to, compete against UCLA. And so I think he's done a really good job of taking that experience and learning from it, and then, using that motivation in practice to really continue to get better and develop as a setter.
Then other question about the expectations. Number one, preseason, number one in the coaches poll. How do you feel like your team has handled the expectations and blocking out the noise of national championship expectations?
Yeah, one thing I really like about our team is while we do obviously play and work towards a big end goal, and Sean helps us out a lot with this as well, is we still focus on volleyball as a match by match basis. We have to play well against UCLA. We have to play well against Pepperdine. Next week, we're going to have to play well against GCU. And so, sure, everyone, put a lot of hype around last season, but, last season is over. Right now, we're a clean slate, 1-1 in conference. We're playing a really good team, tonight and tomorrow, and are going to continue to play really good teams. And so if we simply focused and, tried to concentrate on only winning a national championship, I feel like that would be very distracting. And so I feel that these guys do a really good job of focusing on, right now it's playing good against Pepperdine, a really, really good team that plays with a lot of heart.
All right, and let's go to Spencer. I have a few questions. I'm not sure if your family's in Provo, but this is probably going to be the only match that Pepperdine players' family can attend. What has the feeling been around the program and having family around for these couple matches?
Yeah, I mean, we're really excited about it. I mean, we're aware that there's only going to be a few opportunities that our family is going to be able to watch in person. Unfortunately, my parents couldn't come out this weekend. My mom just got hip surgery. She can't really travel too well, but it's when you have a different type of game situation when you're not playing in front of your fans, and your family can't come to normal matches. It makes you appreciate those times that they can. So I mean, we're really, really looking forward to this weekend, and we're really thankful BYU has opened it up and given our parents those opportunities that we can play in front of them. And hopefully going forward as we go and play the tournament here as well, they can come back and we'll have a great tournament. But yeah, we're really thankful that is an opportunity for that.
You heard that, Sean. Spencer wants to play the MPSF tournament in Provo.
Yeah, no. Hey, let's just keep playing volleyball. So I love his mindset, and he answered that question perfectly. And we were super excited that we were going to be able to have family and allow those guys to have those guests. And I reached out as soon as we knew that was available. I reached out to David and said, hey, talk to your parents right now, because take full advantage of that. We were ecstatic that those guys, that his players would get to have that chance to, come to Salt Lake City, enjoy. It's raining of all things today on February 12th. So I think they'll get some snow tomorrow from what I hear, but yeah, let's have an MPSF tournament and they'll play wherever, we'll play wherever. And if we can make it work and it gets all nailed down and going to be here in Provo, which is that'd be great for us. But I'm just excited that our conference will get an opportunity to have a tournament. And it's a great venue. There's a lot of great venues in our conference, but I think we can put on a good event and be able to hold families and maybe even more by then. Who knows? But yeah, it's fun.
Oh, that's my fault, guys. I thought it was already predetermined.
No. Yeah. David can chime in. You're right. Everything's great. So we're just moving forward with plans to do that 100%.
Yeah, yeah, who knows? I'm with Sean in terms of we're just hoping the tournament somewhere, and all that stuff's being determined by people outside of us that we don't hear much about. So,
but yes, Spencer, you're right. We're making all the plans 100%, buddy. So no fault there.
All right, Brandon, you have a couple questions?
Yeah, I guess for the players, it could also be for the coaches. But can you talk to us? I know we've just kind of briefly hit on, COVID and COVID protocols and stuff like that. But can you talk to us about, the sacrifices you guys are having to deal with this season, and what leadership role you guys are taking to make sure the rest of your teammates are following protocols to make sure that everyone's staying as healthy as possible, so that way we can continue to watch volleyball and play volleyball and have that experience this year. Zach, you can go first again.
Yeah, it's I think the biggest thing that's been really tough is losing out on a lot of just social interaction with friends. I have classmates that I became super good friends with, and multiple ones have invited my wife and I over for dinner, game nights, and it's just a bummer. We tell them every time, like, hey, we're so sorry, but right now we're not hanging out with anyone until after volleyball's done. There's even been a couple of immediate family gatherings that we've had to say no to because either other people would be there that we weren't sure who they were hanging around with, just to limit any sort of possibility of getting an exposure or anything like that. So I would say that's the biggest aspect, is just having less social interaction with those that you care about or are close with.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely sticking mainly to each other and to other people that we, hold dear to us. But, I think we have it a lot better than a lot of other people, maybe a lot of other schools and teams. We're thankful that we can play and practice each day and compete together. So long that we have each other, we can do that. That makes me happy enough. Hopefully when things get back to normal, and then I think, things will get better. But I think for the time being, we'll keep doing the things we need to do in order to play. And then just so that we can have an opportunity at the end of the year.
Spencer, I'll finish up with 3 questions for you. We know that Sean's not going to tell us on this press conference who he's starting at center. How do you prepare for not knowing who you're going to be facing at center?
John, is that a serious question?
Yeah.
I mean, for the last 3 years, Will Stanley's been their starting center, except for one match. I'm not a numbers guy, but the numbers are saying that Will Stanley's going to play the match tonight.
Well, we don't know how healthy he is.
That's a guess. That's a guess.
We just don't know how healthy he is.
He might have had some bad ice cream at the creamery as well. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying that we don't know how healthy he is. I'm just saying. Anyways.
I mean, regardless who comes out on the court, we know we're playing one of the best teams in the country, and we're excited just to play that match. If Zio's in, we'll still be prepared for a great match too. But I've known Will for a couple of years, and he's a great setter, so I think we're just excited to play.
Fine, I'll give you a more serious question then. How do you have been at Pepperdine for what now? This is your 5th year, I believe.
4th year.
4th year, sorry. And so you played in Provo, or you practiced or and served in Provo. How do you adjust to serving in elevation?
I think you just keep the same mindset. Get the ball in front of you, serve tough. Go after guys if that's the plan. But in reality, it's the same as everywhere else. You gotta hit your best serve, and that's what you gotta do.
And then last question, I probably should have started these series of questions with it, but sorry for going out of order. Based off, going off Brandon's question, was there any apprehension, nervousness about flying in the middle of a pandemic? I believe, well, obviously this is your first trip as a team flying. Any nervousness with the team at all?
Not really. I mean, we've done a lot of good things so that we've stayed healthy. We were tested multiple times. We had 2 tests the day before, both nasal swabs, which are killer. But being in the airport around all those people, you just got to make sure you do the right things and stay away. Keep your mask on whenever you can. Try to keep together as a team, and just some things you had to look out for. It was definitely a little bit interesting being around all those people again. But in reality, we were doing good things. If something were to happen in the airport, it's just really unfortunate, but I think we're good.
All right, guys, taking enough of your time. We appreciate both coaches and both players joining us on the press conference today. I will be posting this on Off the Block shortly. We wish you guys all the success this weekend, and staying healthy and having a productive and healthy 2021 season.
Thanks, Sean.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, David. Spencer, thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.